Hey now, what you are about to hear is a free preview of one of this week's premium episodes of The Dumb Zone. If you would like to hear this program in full, along with the full archive, If you would like to hear this program in full with the archive of all of our past episodes, you can subscribe at dumbzone.com.
To me, this is my best bet of the weekend from a side standpoint. I just think this is the worst possible matchup for the Rams. You guys have talked about it. They're awful against the run, so Philly can just do that all game if they want. They're not good against the pass, but if Jalen Hurts still looks like he's concussed and playing with his head up his ass, then they can just lean on the run. And then Stafford in cold weather has been awful. Yes, a lot of that sample size with the Lions, but their one game against the Jets this year, the only reason they won is because the Jets are incompetent, and their outdoor games in general have not been good. The best asset for the Rams is their passing game. I know Kyron scores touchdowns, but he's not that efficient. But I think the Eagles' secondary will match up just fine. I don't know. I have a tough time. I'm surprised that it's not at 7. I think the Eagles cover. I do like the under, though, and I actually really like the first half under. I think we'll see a lot of running early. So I like the under, but I also really, really like the Eagles at 6. I got it at 5.5, but I like it at 6 too.
I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams plus 6.
He's just been quietly waiting for us all to stop all this Eagle slobber.
Yep. I'm going to take the Rams plus 6. You know what? Philadelphia didn't look all that strong last week against Green Bay. In fact, they've had a habit of playing with their food. They don't necessarily square a bunch of people away. Hurts is arguably not playing at the level that he's been playing. If you can keep Barkley to a $120, $130 instead of 255, 300 all-purpose yards, I don't think Hurts is that accurate with chunk plays. I just don't. Not with his arm. You can say the weather, you can say that, but you could also say and play the other side of that coin that Stafford and McVay and the Rams are galvanized by this whole catastrophe.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. Yeah, fire play.
Well, wait a minute. I mean, you can't put a number on that, right? Nobody knows what the number is. Now, I know last week in Glendale, in a dome that was donated and all the use and all the facilities and everything by the Cardinals, and to have the SoFi crowd in there, it was like, they were supposed to win. They set it up. Completely different situation going into Philly. But I don't know. How much is that worth? How much is it worth what's going on in that locker room?
I always wonder in those situations, because I think about that too, Chappy. And I think it's one of those things you always remember the ones that fit whatever argument you're trying to spin. But did all their emotion get poured out into that one, like winning that one? And are they tapped out now having to go cross country? Or is there some magical narrative that's, about to be threaded? And we're going to talk about this, how the Fires, galvanized them and they, big upset. I think about that stuff too. And you're right. I don't know how to quantify that. I just wonder what's their matchup advantage? That's my only question with the Rams is what is their
coaching?
And I guess that would be it, right? McVay over Sirianni. You would take McVay and his staff over Sirianni.
But they also have Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio over there.
Yeah.
So
let me leave you with this last number with this, Mr. McDowell. You kick out the Rams' last game where they rested starters. Their last 7 games, the average points scored against them is 8.1. So that defense, the last 7 weeks, pulling out week 17 or their last game, they're at 8 points a game. And that's at interior 7. So I would like 8. I'd like 8 points. And I'm going to do some things with some teasing that are going to move these numbers around because I think all 4 of these games are that compelling. I'll probably do a 6, 6.5, 7.2 game parlay teaser, throw in a money line. But at the end of the day, that's 6. I got it Eagles 27, Rams 24.
Yeah, Rams defense has been putting up numbers, and that started before the Fire, so you have to figure the
the Fire thing is a narrative I think you write after the game. to determine how the fire affected them. Had they gotten beat last week, it would have been like just too much.
Couldn't pull it together.
I mean, there's too much to overcome.
Yeah.
But then they didn't, so then it's like, they all banded together, and they're they're the nobody believes in us team.
But you're right, Jared. That whole balloon could pop already given away from last week.
Is it bad that one of the first – it could, yeah, and then we just say, they left it all out in one game. Is it bad that one of the first things I think of whenever there's a tragedy is how will Dan downplay their local sports team attempting to ride this wave to glory?
Well, it was like when New Orleans came back. It was like New Orleans, we really needed the team really brought us back. Like, really? There's a guy floating in the street there.
So
there was a baseball player once upon a time who died, and you asked, are they playing for him? And
the Mike Piazza home run post 9/11 just not really doesn't move the needle for you, even though they've done documentaries on it.
So, Chappy, I know you got to go, but just 30 seconds on that final game.
Okay.
Oh, you have to go that soon? You got a couple minutes.
Well, I got 5 minutes. I tell you what,
sorry.
I'll say my piece, and I'll
producer.
listen to you guys. Man, if you really knew who was going to win this game cold turkey, then, man, you ought to be living in a house 5 times bigger than what you got, because this is going to be a tough game. You got narratives on both sides of the field. I mean, the Bills are 8-0 at Orchard Park. It's going to be 2 degrees. You got Lamar Jackson that's tired of hearing that he can't win a big game. You got Derrick Henry, the double deuce, that can pound down 190 yards on you. You got all kind of options for the Ravens. And basically it comes, can you get number 17 down to the ground? That's really what it comes down to. But let me tell you something, boys. This is Josh Allen's year, and he's going to win this game. And they're going to go up against the Chiefs, and they're probably going to win that game. This is Josh Allen's year, and I got to tell you, it's going to be an epic duel, but I got it at 31 Bills, 27 Ravens, and it strictly comes down to who wants more of that pigskin on a 2-degree field.
So you love the over then, huh, Chappy? Because I think it's at 51.5.
I do. And you know what? I get the snow. I get all that. But these dudes are going to be making plays and flinging the ball around. They're going to do whatever it takes. I could be totally wrong. It could be a low-scoring game, but I think it's going to be a little bit on the higher end. And I just like Josh Allen in this play. And I bet you not one of you think the Bills are going to win.
No, I'm with you.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Bills Nation. Coming alive, bro.
This is not. I wouldn't put actual money on this. It just seems. I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
I can't figure all 4 of them out, Dan. So, I mean, that's why I'm going to tease. They're tight. They did a nice job.
I'm going to claim, though, that I figured out Philly. And I feel like I figured out Detroit a little better. But this one, I am looking forward to this the most, obviously, right? This is what everybody's saying could be the Super Bowl. I am concerned about this. Like, it feels like, yes, Lamar Jackson, that's the narrative around him. He's now, 3-4. He was 2-4 entering these playoffs. So he's 3-4 in the playoffs in his career. And this, to me, I hate when I read stuff like this. Before last week's game, Lamar Jackson was interviewed. And he said, they asked what has happened in the previous year's playoffs. And this reminds me of like Dak and the Cowboys, like last year heading into the playoffs. They're like, why is this year different? Oh, this year's different because blah, blah, blah. This is why. This team's better. And then they weren't. Well, Lamar Jackson said, he said, I'd be too excited in the past, too antsy. I'd be seeing things, I got to calm myself down. But being more experienced, I found a way to balance it out, which is kind of like a mission accomplished banner hung, like I know how to do it now. Not the, well, I got Derrick Henry. That seems like a really good bonus. But then the other thing is, though, that he has been incredibly awesome this year. Like, Derrick Henry isn't just like taking – it isn't like he's not doing anything because Derrick Henry is here. He's doing even more than he was before because Derrick Henry is also taking some attention away from him. 41 touchdowns, 4,000 yards passing, 4 interceptions, and 900 yards rushing for Lamar. 900 yards rushing. And we're going nuts because Rico got barely over 1,000 in game 17. It's like, okay, you don't understand how incredible Lamar Jackson is. Zay Flowers could be out. Is that official?
He is out.
He's out.
That's done?
He's out. He's not playing.
So that's a concern, but I mean the cold. I don't know. I'm very excited for this game, but I'm buying what Chappy says. I'm buying that it's Lamar Jackson's year. I don't know. You got a feel?
I think even without Zay Flowers, the Ravens have too much. This is like the best offense, most dynamic offense I've seen in a long time. Because you look at, I don't know what took him so long, but maybe for Derrick Henry type player to be available. But there are times where like they run zone read and there are 4 guys running with one or the other of them. Whether it's Lamar's keeping, you know what I mean? Like you'll just see Derrick Henry not even get touched for a few yards because everybody's going with Lamar.
Yeah,
and then sometimes it works the other way around.
They've started putting Henry in the Wildcat, and they'll run Lamar in motion. And it's amazing watching that defense just focus on him.
A little belly play type thing. Yeah, and then, he's also, it depends on what you think of these metrics, but he's like the best pocket passer in the NFL this year by some numbers. If you just look at like quick passes, things that he does in the first 2 or 2.5 seconds or whatever of the throw. So, I don't know. It feels like this is the final form of what a Lamar Jackson offense can look like. They can do anything. And their defense is also as good or better than Buffalo's. So, I don't know. It's a hell of a game. There are 3 championship-level teams, like legitimate Super Bowl teams in that conference. But I would take Baltimore, especially if you're getting one. But you're not, right? It's Baltimore -1? Correct. Is it even? Okay. Baltimore, I think.
It started the week the Bills favored, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's flipped. So, all right. Well, thanks, Chappy. Good times.
Yeah, that was a good time. I still got Bills -1. Yeah, it's great weekend. You think about wild card, but divisional is even better.
It's like they just each week,
It's weird how that works, isn't it?
I mean, I guess some people like the first round of the tournament the most, but.
Well, you had a lot of so-called experts like last weekend. It didn't look like experts.
Oh, and you went 4-2, huh?
I saw a lot of 1-5 and 2-4s and 3-3. So I don't think everybody has all this figured out either.
All right, well, go do whatever you're doing.
Get after those Bills.
Yeah, what are we doing today? We're moving.
I'm close. I got a couple of builder meetings today and a couple.
I can't tell you how long we've been hearing about this.
Well, he moved. He's in a rent house, so like their house is being built. So there's a move and then a move. You know what I mean? So there's a lot going on.
I'm closing January 30th. I'm going to be moving the first 2 weeks of February. Today, I have several builders that are doing some custom work inside the house, and I have to be over there. So
what does that mean?
Nobody's interested in that.
Nope.
I just wondered what custom like Chappy demands. This or that,
That's a trap. I'm not walking in it, Dan.
Oh, okay. All right, well, thanks. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you. See you later. See you later, guys.
There's Chappy.
Bye.
The Dumb Zone.